After the last few days, NBA 2K has ended up dropping a patch. In the patch, y'all guys was hitting up my DMs on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter, and you can hit me up, ask me questions, anything about dribbling, shooting, builds, and even jump shots. But look, 2K ended up dropping a patch to nerf left riding. If you don't understand what left riding, that's when your my player can dribble the ball, go left right very fast, and it was very hard to guard, but if you was a great defender, you could stop it. But now, since the patch has came out, a lot of you guys been asking me, I need a new build. I'm tired of playing on this play shot. I can't get open. All I can do is mostly shoot threes on a play shot. How am I going to be able to get to the hole if I need to get to the hole? As it being patched from before, this is literally what it was before 2K end up patching or nerfing this. Even though they nerfed this, they end up nerfing speed in general with the ball. So a lot of you guys are looking for new builds, but as we're in the My Player Builder, I'm going to be bringing back a build that y'all boys are going to like. This build right here, y'all should remember from 2K21. This was my OG ISO build. A lot of you guys love this build. This half and half green blue pie chart. This is maybe one of the builds that you guys are gonna make, because I'm telling you, if you use this, it's gonna be kind of difficult because you're not gonna have that many playmaking badges, but you still can get the job done. ISOing, cooking people, getting to the hole, dunking the ball, shooting the shot. You can shoot from the three, you can shoot from the mid-range, and you do not have a low three-pointer on this build. But as this being a shooting guard, you're gonna pick the blue and green half and half pie chart. Physical profile, you're gonna have to pick the speed. It's no point in picking anything else but speed for this build, because you're gonna start with a low speed as you being a taller build. But check this out, you can also be a shorter build with using this pie chart as well. But as I'm going to end up making this build, you can make this build a little more better, but I made it based off of just ISOing in general. Because on ISO, if you lose the ball, especially if you're someone that's played twos, you're going to need some type of decent defensive badges. Because if you are a more scoring type of build, you're going to have the least defensive badges. If you can get at least 6 to 5 defensive badges, we're looking to get to the range of 6 to 8 defensive badges, especially on the ISO. But as I'm looking at the shooting already, a lot of you guys already know you can shoot with a 73 pointer, you can shoot with a 65. There's gonna be a few builds in this video that you're gonna see that has those type of 3-pointers, but there's also builds in here that also have a 83 pointer, and you can get contact dunks. But as I got the badge count 13, 18, 15, and 6, this is looking like my 2K21 slasher build. If you guys remember my 2K21 slasher build, that build was crazy. I literally can hop on a 1v1 court. I played 1v1 rush with it, 2v2 rush with it. I played in the stage with it. It was a fun build to use, and it was a good build to use for rep also. With this build, like I told you guys earlier, you can make this build short if you want to, but the lowest I would tell you guys to go is 6'3". 6'3" all the way to 6'5". It's the perfect heights with this build. So if you're someone that wants to be smaller and you want to run guard with this, I prefer you to run with the 6'3". Even though you run in guard, you still can run with the 6'5". But the 6'3", the only reason I would tell you guys to try out the 6'3" if you're wanting to be a smaller guard is you're going to be able to use mismatch expert. Plus, you're going to be able to still drive and get to the hole and dunk the ball. Even if you don't get contact dunks off the rip, you will still be able to dunk the ball. But with the 6'5", you can get contact dunks at 99. Especially with the other one, you still can get contact dunks at 99, but you won't have the 85 drive and dunk. And I know it's going to be hard to keep 99 on this build. So as that build being the slasher, the next build is going to be the build that really changed the game this year. We're going to make this build a point guard. We're going with the half and half red and yellow pie chart. Most of you guys, by the time you were even looking at the pie chart, you should know what build we're making right now. This build really changed how the game is about to be played now, because especially you can't left right anymore. A lot of you guys are going to have a lot of lockdown builds checking you. Since the beginning of season 3, a lot of you guys, you already know this build was already a build that you've seen on a consistent basis. But since they end up nerfing the left right and slowing the speed with ball down, a lot of you guys are going to end up seeing this type of build running around on the 2s or even ISOing on the 3s. They was already ISOing, but it's going to be at an all-time high you seeing this build. And the build is the two-way playmaker. The two-way playmaker might be the build that might make the game different. The whole meta might change. We went from using play shots, people using screens, and people using slashers, to us using lockdowns that can dribble and shoot decently on the ISO consistently. But if you're someone that knows how to dribble, like actually knows how to dribble, not throwing left rights here and there, this build is going to be dangerous for you. There's a lot of builds in this video that might caters to how you play or caters to your style. I'm telling you this now, you might have a hard decision picking one of these ISO builds to use, because there's so many great ISO builds on this game. As long as you know how to dribble and move your my player without having to do left right, even though they slow down the speed with ball, you will still get open. When I say this might be one of the greatest tools build that you can use, this might be one of the best ISO builds that you can ever use. Even in my top 3, I would choose this as one of the best ISO builds. But as you choosing the height, I prefer you to go 6'4" all the way to 6'6". A lot of you guys are going to pick in between the 6'5". I do prefer you guys to try out the 6'5". But look, if you're someone that wants to go a little smaller, the 6'3" is on the borderline. And I'm saying it's on the borderline. With this type of build, I prefer you to be taller. Some of you guys might still want the elite dribble moves using Derrick Rose. You could still use that with the 6'4" and the 6'3", but I do prefer the 6'5". The 6'5" can play defense way better than the 6'3" could, and it can still be able to body people in the paint, and you can still shoot a great mid-range and three-pointer and have the ability. But the high chart, I told y'all boys, that half and half red yellow is crazy when it comes to ISOing. But when it comes down to the takeovers, I prefer playmaking or slash and take on this build, because most of the time you're going to be dunking the ball, and you're going to get slash and take very fast on this build at dunking the ball. As you have in playmaking, you're going to have to pass the ball more. Even if you scored, it's going to take you maybe 6 to 7 attempts to get takeover with playmaking take. But as we get into the next build, build number 3, this build right here, it's the build from 2K20 that I love the most. My Ja Morant type build, the slashing playmaker. It's not a slashing playmaker as y'all think. It's going to be a two-way slashing playmaker. As you got the blue and yellow pie chart, this is one of the best rep pie charts to use, especially on the twos. This is literally one of the best rep pie charts that you can use, especially ISOing on the twos. You get the best of both worlds with this pie chart right here. You can grind rep, and also you can ISO on this build, and you don't have to be small. And the thing with slashing builds this year, even last year, you do not need that many slashing badges to be able to be going to the hole, dunking the ball consistently. All you need is 15 to 16 finishing badges is all you need. And with this build having 15 and I'm getting 12 shooting badges on gold, you can get a decent amount of badges and put it on a good amount of category that you want it on and still get buckets with it. But like I told you guys early in the video, when it comes to defense, I'm trying to at least get the 6 to 8 defensive badges on the builds that we're making. If we can get the 6 to 8 defensive badges, it'll be cool. But on this build, I got 7 defensive badges, 15, 12, 22, and 7. I'm actually messing with it. But as you've seen, there's a consistent thing going on right now. Almost every build I'm making right now can have the ability to still be able to shoot. It can get contact dunks, play decent defense, and it has high enough ball control to be able to dribble consistently. With these builds that you're going to see, you're going to end up taking the ball to the hole. We all know this. This is why we're going to get an 80 driving dunk plus on almost every build I create. So look, with this build, you can be all the way to height from 6'3" all the way to 6'7". But with those heights given, I do prefer to use 6'4" all the way to 6'6". Those are some of the best ones to use, especially when you lower your weight. You're going to be very fast, and you're going to be able to still be able to get contact dunks on these builds once you max out the wingspan. But if you're someone that wants to just hop on the build and you don't feel like grinding all the way to 99, I prefer you to go with the 6'4". The 6'4", you still get the elite dribble moves, you still able to get the D-Rose crossover if you want it. You are getting an 85 driving dunk off the rip, so that means you'll be able to get contact dunks off rip, and you will still be able to shoot the ball consistently, because you know you can shoot with a 63 three-pointer, and you got a 75 mid-range. So if you're going to end up making a two-way slashing playmaker, that would maybe be one of my last options based on how many good builds that are on this list. As we get into build number 4. Build number 4, you guys, you might sleep on this build. If you didn't see my LaMelo Ball build video, this build right here might be one of the best slept on pie charts to use for an ISO type of build. As we're going to use the more green, less blue pie chart, this pie chart right here is literally, I can say I have so much fun using this pie chart. This pie chart right here might be one of the fun pie charts that's literally slept on. But as we're going to upgrade this, I'm only going to have gold finishing on this build. Even with having gold finishing, I'm still going to be able to get to the hole, still going to be able to dunk, and I'm still going to have a high enough three-pointer to use this build. If you're someone that doesn't cater to having long arms, I do prefer you can use long arms if you're trying to get contact dunks on this build, but if you don't care to have long arms, this build will be crazy. I think you'll possibly have like an 88 3-pointer still with a 75 driving dunk on this build. But if you're some of that type of ISO player that likes to shoot the ball more than they drive, but they still want the ability to drive to the hole and dunk the ball, this might be the pie chart that you're looking for if you don't want to go with the half and half. And you're gonna have a higher shooting rating with this build. But as I got the badge count of 13, 22, 15, and 5, man, I wanted to try to get 6 defensive badges on this build, but it's so hard to do that. Even if I lower my finishing to 12, I still don't get 6 defensive badges on this build. But as you want to make the height, you can make the height 6'3" all the way to 6'5", but you're going to get a different name if you don't use the 6'5". If you're going to go with minimum wingspan, I prefer to go with the 6'4", 6'3", but if you're going with max wingspan, do the 6'5". I prefer you to go with 6'5", especially if somebody that knows they can get their shot off even with a low 3-pointer, pick the 6'5". But if you're someone that's gonna need more speed, pick the 6'3" and 6'4". But one thing about this build, I'm gonna tell you, if you do go 6'5", you're going to have to grind this build out to make it how it's supposed to be. You're gonna only get the 80 ball control once you hit 97 overall. So remember that, you're gonna have to grind this build out if you go 6'5". And if you go longest wingspan and you're trying to get contact dunks, it's going to be a grind. But as of the takeovers, it really doesn't matter if you go max wingspan. If you go max wingspan, you're going to end up having an 82 driving dunk at 99. So if you end up picking sharp, slashing, or playmaking takeover, you're still going to have the ability to get contact dunks in takeover. As you see in the two-way pass first point, that's not usually how you see it. Most of the time you see it in a lockdown form, you're going to see the two-way pass first of ISO. So as this build that you're seeing, the last build on the list, but as you can make this build a point guard or a shooting guard, the pie chart you're going to use is the newest pie chart they added to the game. The more yellow, the less green. All the way at the bottom of the list. I'm telling you, a lot of people sleep on this build. I do like the pure playmaker pie chart, but this one I get a better shooting attributes on this build, so I prefer this more better than the pure play. But if you're someone that prefers the pure play, use the pure play. But look, only thing about this build I do not like is that I don't get no finishing badges. Even though I have the rating to be able to dunk the ball, I do not get great finishing badges on this build. I get a regular, somewhat play shot type of badge count with this build. As you see in the shooting on this build, I get an 84 3-pointer on this build. If I make my wingspan minimum, I will have an 88 or maybe 87 3-pointer. But that defeats the purpose of me using a tall build. If you're someone that's going to use a short build, you could make this build 6'4", you can make it 6'3", but as of actually ISOing, I prefer you to go around the 6'4" range. You can have this build maybe go all the way to 6'7", but I do prefer you guys, if you want to have the elite dribble moves, use the 6'3" and 6'4". 6'3", 6'4", it's not too small, it's just around borderline, but I do prefer the 6'4" type build. As you, like I said, you can go all the way to 6'7". 6'8" is pushing it. You won't be having the ability to get pro dribble moves at 99, so 6'7" is the highest you can go in this build. The only thing about going 6'7" is the speed. You lose a lot of speed, but the 6'6", if you don't care for having elite dribble moves, the 6'6" can literally play defense on almost any build if it's not a post score, or any type of build that's around 6'11" to 7 foot tall. You'll be good. But if you're someone, like I said earlier, if you want to go with that lowest wingspan, you can, but you still want to have to grind it out if you use the 6'6" to get an 85 ball control. But you're going to still get 88 ball control at 99. And with you having the ability to get sharp takeover in this build, hey, I might have to use it. But look, if you're going to end up making one of these builds in this video, let me know in the comment section. Also, drop a like if you haven't yet. Make sure y'all boys turn on those post notifications if you haven't. Hit the bell, click all. It been your man ChaMoma, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.